Hi viewers, and welcome to Real Talk today on Schengen Story Media. I am Vincent Ihesolo to lead you through. I have my partner in the house to do justice to all the interesting topics that we are going to analyze today. Talking about Mark Godwin Iwajunwa, producer and anchorman of Schengen Story Media. Mr. Mark, you're welcome to the program.
Good morning, Honorable Vincent Ihesolo, the great man. And good morning to our viewers. It's also beautiful to be here again today. Thank you.
You're welcome. Please, viewer, don't mind Mr. Mark when he says, when he adds that honorable title to my name. I am not a politician. I'm just me.
Okay.
So, but that's okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Mark. Let's go straight to the global headlines from around the world. Now, let's look at Afghanistan. From Afghanistan, we get the report that the Taliban seizes key Afghan city of Ghazni, and the US is worried that Kabul could fall in 90 days. And from Russia, we get news that 8 people are missing after tourist helicopter crashes in Russian lake. And then from Africa, Zambia, we hear that there is a strong turnout as polling starts in Zambian elections. Meanwhile, the Zambian Electoral Commission promises transparency in these elections. And from the UK, United Kingdom, the GDP is still below pre-pandemic level as recovery sparks boast. Then from New Zealand, we get a report that New Zealand's borders to remain shut as it eyes reopening to vaccinated travelers from early 2022. And in Turkey, massive floods hit Turkey. Turkey is the Black Sea region. Then from Australia, we get a report that the Delta variant of COVID-19 further envelopes Australia after Sydney and Melbourne. Meanwhile, the city of Canberra is to enter lockdown. Then from Italy, we hear that Sicily, the town of Sicily, records Europe's highest ever temperature. Then in Philippines, strong earthquake strikes Philippines. But good thing is that there is no major damage reported. Then Poland pushes ahead with bill criticized as attack on US-owned TV channel and press freedom. And that's it on the global headlines making the rounds. Let's go straight to the discussion of our major issues, news topics trending around the world. And from we start from the United States, where we got a report that former President Barack Obama, who celebrated his 60th birthday bash recently, broke COVID-19 protocols by allowing hundreds of guests. And again, it was reported that he was cited mingling with the crowd without his masks. Now, that's a very big issue coming from someone of Obama's status. Remember that President Obama is a very charismatic leader, someone who's loved by many and who's seen as a model of good behavior and adherence to government regulations. But in this case, we hear from the reports that Obama threw that lavish birthday party, at his 29-acre residence with his wife and the celebrities from different backgrounds honoring the event. Let me bring it to you, Mr. Mark. You can see in the videos, even though the videos are not clear, because you don't blame the video, whoever recorded the video, it is not clear because there was a restriction for people with cameras and any other communication gadget, not to record anything, in that event. Even whatever, the one we managed to see now were leaked by people who managed to capture these scenes. They said people smoked freely, smoked illegal substances freely at that event. That brings to question, what kind of person really is Obama? Is Obama the person we always believed he is, or is he a different kind of person, behind the cameras? Mr. Mark, what's your take on this?
Thank you very much. my friend. Um, well, a 60th birthday is an honorable, is a noble event to in one's life. It's a remarkable age. Obama was celebrating his 60th birthday last Saturday in his home, his country home, Massachusetts. Now, that event was actually done in the backyard of a celebrity called Mata.
Okay.
One, yes, and
Okay, Martha's Vineyard. Yes, I remember.
yes, it carried a lot of guests, Obama's family members, Obama's friends, artists, celebrities, and all the rest. Jay-Z was there with the wife, Tom Hanks, George Clooney, so many of the big time artists we know. What we're saying now is the criticism coming from the Republicans. The Republicans are saying it was not, the event didn't match up with the COVID restriction we all know is being placed in so many events now. It was free for all, each celebration, and there were all manner of mixing up. There were no social distancing. There were none of those things. So is that criticism that is coming from the Republicans and also from some press media homes that a statesman like Obama should know better, even though his birthday is a special day, but we're in a very critical period now, and we all know the COVID also has infected America so much. We have more numbers of people dying in that part of the world. So it was held anyway, and it has come and gone. That was last Saturday. The video you saw was from the phone of a musician, an artist called Erykah Badu. Erykah Badu, yeah, she recorded that with her phone, so that's why it's not as clear. So we're just looking at both sides, the comments from the Republicans and also what other people are saying in regards to the situation on ground. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mark. We remember that Obama's spokesperson, Hannah Hankins, told the press last week that the outdoor event was planned months ago in accordance with all public health guidelines and with COVID safeguards in place. And due to the new spread of the Delta variant over the past week, the president and Mrs. Obama have decided to significantly scale back the event to include only family and close friends. But that's not what we saw anyway. And sometimes you don't blame people like that, because a lot of people would have wanted to, attend the event, whether they are invited or not. Well, most critics have said this is hypocrisy at the highest level, saying that the rules are for thee and not for me, that kind of thing. But, well, we see how it plays out as the days go by, where people, in high places like this do say things and they don't do what they say, or they don't do what they preach, at the back end. If actually Obama allowed that, it's quite bad, thinking. And it's high time people are in positions of authority, models of the society, begin to live in tandem with expectations of the people, especially when it concerns, popular regulations like this. Okay, we go to the next issue where we heard about the launch of the latest female billionaire, not just the female billionaire, but the second wealthiest female musician in the world. I'm talking about Robin Fenty. Robin Fenty is someone we all know as Rihanna, the elegant beauty from the island of Barbados, who is said to be worth $1.7 billion now. That's according to Forbes estimates, making her the wealthiest female musician in the world, and second only to Oprah Winfrey, as the richest female entertainer. And of course, it's interesting here to note that it's not her music that made her so wealthy. The bulk of her fortune, as an estimated $1.4 billion, comes from the value of Fenty Beauty, have beauty products, known as Fenty Beauty, which Forbes confirmed is she owns 50% of it. Mr. Mark, I'm sure you're a fan of Rihanna's music. How did you feel when you saw that news, when it busted on the internet that Rihanna is now the wealthiest female musician in the world?
Yes, it's exciting, and it's nice to know that hard work can pay off. As an entertainer myself, I've been following Rihanna from her days as a very little girl. She was a protege of Jay-Z. She came out with a song then, and those in earlier days, the songs.
You remember her Under My Umbrella?
Under My Umbrella, yeah, My Umbrella. So her songs really made Billboard charts and really smashed a lot of records and awards. And you see, the interesting thing now is she's business savvy. Her ability to go into not relying much on her voice and also bringing out a business plan, and it has worked out well. She came up with these luxurious products for females of different colors, body cream, hair cream, and all that. And what she did was she collaborated with some big names on the ground before, Louis Vuitton, Gucci, and Christian Dior, those big names. So our product was sold alongside with those products. And she didn't come out in that ordinary space. She made it an elite kind of thing, luxurious. So Rihanna has done very well. 33-year-old girl, and she has shown to the world that with all provisions made, a black lady can really progress with whatever she puts her mind to do. So.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. I remember, Rihanna has got millions of followers on social media. She actually, just like they said in that Forbes report, she didn't become a billionaire from her music. Yes. I remember she used to she saw Beyonce as one of her role models, if you remember. Yes. And now she has toppled Beyonce and become a billionaire before Beyonce. And she is said to have 101 million followers on Instagram.
Yes.
And 102.5 million on Twitter alone. Man, correct. That's a lot. And she saw the opportunity. She converted the opportunity, to a business opportunity and used it to make so much money for herself. Now, there's a new tweet to the whole story, Rihanna's story. We hear a group of people in Nigeria, that was the Igbos in Nigeria. I heard news circulating that Rihanna said her mom told her she's got Igbo roots. Have you been able to verify this, Mr. Mark? Rihanna's Igbo roots.
That's a good one too. Well, the Igbos are like that orientation, that business savvy mindset. Yes, it's close to that, Okay, the story actually is that Rihanna is from a country called Barbados. Barbados is an island in North America. It's a border town with Trinidad and Tobago. Now, Barbados, the islands in that part of the world were all inhabited by slaves.
Okay.
Yes. So it is said
former slaves.
Yes, former slaves. Yes. Yeah. It is said that the slaves that were taken mainly to Barbados were of the Igbo origin in Nigeria, southeast Nigeria. So, in fact, there are some colloquials and some words, some pronunciations that is similar to the Igbo.
Some Igbo words, right?
Yes. There's that similarity. So, what Rihanna's mother is telling her is true to an extent, but people will argue. Obviously, if you also see the color of the people of Barbados, the Igbos have more of the fair brown,
fair complexion, the people.
Fair complexion. They are more like that, and the face, the facials of most of them resembles the Igbos of the Southeast Nigeria. So,
well, in that case, we should be reaching out to Rihanna for her to bring home some of the wealth, some of the billions. Maybe she should come and invest in Igbo land, to bring home part of that.
Yes. She should be encouraged. Well, one thing I know is many of these artists, many of these A-listers and stars from America have projects in Africa. But the thing is, they don't come much to Nigeria. I don't know why. They prefer to go to Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda, South Africa. They prefer to have their businesses there. I know, like Oprah has a school, one of the best female school in Namibia and South Africa also. And Rihanna obviously has a business also in that part of the world. So what we need to do is to make our place also convenient.
Business friendly, for investors to come in. So that when she comes in, nobody will kidnap her. They will not use taxation to drive her away. Sometimes you see Omwales come out to make demands on a company actually that's supposed to provide employment for people. That's not right. We need to look into those things back home. And it's a leadership question. That's it on Rihanna. Let's go say hi to. Remember the last time we came here, we brought you a story about the issue, thing that happened in Indonesia, where some immigration officers of the Indonesian government manhandled a Nigerian diplomat. We saw that video. Today we have updates on that issue, and just like we expected, the Nigerian government has responded to it and currently has called back the diplomats in Indonesia, called them back home to Nigeria. They've also summoned the Indonesian ambassador in Nigeria. Of course, most of the reports there is in the address made by the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Nigeria's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mr. Jeffrey Onyama. Could we pull up that video clip on the screen to hear directly from the minister where he addressed the press, and he even shed more light on what transpired in Indonesia. So the man was said not to have anything to identify himself at the moment, but that he agreed to follow those officers to their office for proper verification of his identity, since he didn't have any identity material on him. So on their way, when they drove past the office where he thought was their office in Jakarta there, he started to raise alarm, thinking he had been kidnapped. So he started making noise in the vehicle, hitting the windows, which of course led to their trying to restrain him based on what we saw in the video there. Now, it is also fair enough that the officers, immigration officers, recorded the event, because without their having recorded it, we would not have known what happened. I'm sure they did that to also defend themselves.
As to what had transpired.
Okay, there we have the audio.
And later, yesterday, in the evening, we received a full and comprehensive report from the Nigerian ambassador in Indonesia, which we have studied and reinforces our previous position that there was absolutely no justification whatsoever for this treatment, for this kind of behavior against not only a diplomat, a Nigerian diplomat, but even if it had taken place against any Nigerian citizen, it was totally unacceptable. And so what we have decided to do is to recall for consultations immediately our Nigerian ambassador in Jakarta, in Indonesia, and we will have full consultations at the highest level and decide what next steps to take, including a review, of course, of our relations with Indonesia. We have also requested the Indonesian government to take severe and appropriate sanctions against the immigration officials that were involved in this act of brazen criminality. So this is what I wanted to share with you, and
Yes, that's a good one. That's a good move by the Minister of Foreign Affairs in Nigeria, Mr. Jeffrey Onyama. He said they have reached out to he has reached out to his Indonesian counterpart to ensure that the officers involved in that act of criminality should be meted out, should be sanctioned appropriately. That's it on that part. On the updates, we promised you we're going to bring you updates on the Nigeria-Indonesia diplomatic row, and there we have it. Now, we would be going on a short break. When we come back, we'll continue with a viral video that went around, still trending anyway, on Nigeria's foremost university, that's the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, where hostels, we tagged it Hostels of Shame, UNN's Hostels of Shame. We'll be talking extensively on this. We'll discuss the trending video and the implications of that. Please stay tuned.
Schengen Story magazine is an African international bi-monthly magazine based in Milan, Italy, and founded in 2016. The publication focuses on personalities, fashion, style, entrepreneurship, and culture for Africans. Though articles on food, movies, fitness, music, travel, sports, technology, and books are also featured. Our lives full of best stories. A lot can happen in a month. Expand your mind, change your world. Get Schengen Story magazine's full editions. Celebrating Africans make an impact. Read better, the inside story. Your fashion magazine for a better lifestyle. Inspiring stories for you. Your monthly dose of entertainment. A better mind keeping you updated.
Hashtag Schengen Story Magazine. Get Schengen Story Magazine full editions.
Okay, hello viewer, you're welcome back to Real Talk on Schengen Story Media. I am Vincent Ihesnola, and with me in the studio doing justice to the issues we have to discuss here is Mr. Mike Godwin Iwajunwa, producer and director of Schengen Story Media. Mr. Mark.
Thank you very much. It's a beautiful thing to have such updates going on in Europe. We don't normally have news like this, so you're doing a great job giving us the Nigerian news and also taking the European international news back to Nigeria. So we hope the viewers can really get it and enjoy nooking up all time to your program, Real Talk. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, back to what we talked about. It's actually a sobering, the video had a sobering effect on me. Anytime I've been viewing that video, that trending video on University of Nigeria, Nsukka. University of Nigeria, Nsukka happens to be the foremost university. Let me give a brief history of that university for people to understand why it is very important that thing, whatever is happening at the moment in that university, has to be corrected. This university was established by a law to establish that university in the eastern region of Nigeria was passed in 1955. And then the premier of the then eastern region, Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, actually made efforts. He took great steps to make sure that that university was, created. He got the United States of America and United Kingdom involved in the planning of the physical and educational aspects of that university. And under the joint auspices of the Inter-University Council for Higher Education and Overseas and the International Cooperation Administration, now known as the United States Agency for International Development, USAID, the team surveyed the site at Nsukka and extensively investigated a great variety of factors pertinent to the establishment of a new university. The results of their efforts were contained in a white paper issued by the Eastern Nigeria government on 30th of November 1958. They had recommended that the development of the University of Nigeria, based upon the concept of service to problems and needs of Nigeria, is a desirable project and one that should receive support from any source which could help to make it a sound endeavor. Now, this university at the end came to fruition and became Nigeria's foremost university. Of course, some notable graduates of this university include former governor of Nigeria's central bank, Professor Charles Chukwuma Soludo. In fact, his deputy also, Tunde Lemo. Of course, you know about Dora Akunyele, the late former director general of NAFDAC, the drug control agency in Nigeria. You know about the legal luminary, Olisa Abakoba, senior advocate of Nigeria. Because you know Professor Patu Tomi, you know late Tony Momo, you know former Governor Peter Obi, you know Biageli Ezekwesi, Sullivan Chime. In the entertainment, you know Yukeri Anonobi, you know former wife of late Biafran leader Bianca Odumegwu Ojukwu, you know Zach Oji, Chris Okotie, so many of them products of that great university. And today we're seeing this video. If you had seen this video, maybe if this video was shot during the daytime, I'm not sure you would be able to eat after seeing the gory sight. The residents where students of that university are made to leave after paying accommodation fees. No, this is not a zoo. This is not a zoo. This is not a dump site. This is a residence of students of that great university. This is where they stay. This is where they eat. This is where they sleep. This is where they cook. This is where they have their bath. This is where they do everything after lectures. They go back to these places and call it home. In a room in that university, officially it's supposed to be 6 people, but each room contains about, you end up seeing about 10 to 12 students in a room. It is quite sad. And this has generated a lot of reactions from people all over the internet. And while we are yet to hear from the university on this issue, it is something that calls for a quick action from the current Vice Chancellor, Professor Charles Igwe. Let me bring you in here at this point, Mr. Mark Godwin. Have you been able, what did you think when you saw this video trending? Yeah, that's a hostel, I know. I think that's an Njoku, part of an Njoku hostel in that Nsukka campus of University of Nigeria. That looks like a dump site, but this is actually a residence of students. Mr. Mark, what went through your mind when you saw these images?
If not for the hard knock life that has made us hardened, this is enough to cry all the day long. I mean, this is appalling. This is filth to the core. How could people live in such an environment? And I mean, why did this generate to this? What happened? How do you read and study in this kind of environment and have a sane mind and brain? You guys really tried to have been in this environment and still come out normal. I tell you, some people will not come out normal out of this. You go mental, you go mad, because this is squalor, this is filth, it's the words for this is not enough. It's not in the dictionary. It's a sad story, my brother. It's not pleasant at all. So we are calling up on the UNN officials in charge of the dormitories and the school facilities to come and answer questions on this. I mean, we need to know why this is happening. Take note, according to your brief history of UNN, UNN is also one of Africa's leading university. UNN, apart from the people it has produced, UNN has reckoned with top-notch. I mean, the level of education and teaching is equated to some of the big top-notch universities in the world. So, but when they see where these people are coming from, I tell you, they will cancel everything. They will cancel all these accolades. that they give to UNN, because this is eyesore.
It's an eyesore indeed. It's an eyesore indeed.
It's an eyesore.
It's an eyesore. It's an eyesore indeed. I agree with you totally. I remember I've been to, when I graduated from that university, I remember when we were there, yeah, we saw these things. There are some things I cannot even begin to mention online. The inhuman conditions that we as students were subjected to, you know, where we lived. There was no water. Even though, yeah, students take a larger part of the blame to students who live like animals. Somebody will come out to the balcony and pee, you know, instead of going to the toilet. Yes, but sometimes you don't blame such students, because the toilet and those places are not places that you can. Sometimes when I think back, I wonder how we were able to survive going to those kind of places. Yeah, imagine you're having to make use of this kind of facility to pee. If you went there, the urge to pee would vanish immediately if anybody wanted to pee. Now, this is filth.
It's unbelievable.
There could be germs, different bacteria, you know, living here, and that could have affected anybody using these facilities. These things were provided for in those early days, and they were well taken care of. But these days, nobody takes care of them. Now, how much would it cost to just change 3 of these or number of these in the hostels? People pay, students pay for these things, and the government makes provisions. Unless it is not so, we expect the school, the university administration, to come out openly and issue a statement, defend themselves, or find solutions. You know, they could use endowments, they could use endowment programs. You have all these big guys. Somebody even suggested getting Obi Kubana, that showbiz billionaire, you know, raise funds from people like this. Excuse me. Raise funds from products of that university and tidy up some of these hostels. It takes nothing. It only takes sincerity. But when you bring in people who do not know the value of cleanliness and quality living, they would not know. They would think it's just normal. When you, I want to advise the administrators in UNN to challenge themselves and take a trip to University of Ibadan, the major contemporary of University of Nigeria. Go to University of Ibadan. There is a culture of maintenance, a very strong culture of maintenance in that university, where buildings, every building in that university is painted, repainted every year. Now, I can't remember the last time buildings in UNN were painted.
Also, sorry, Vincent, let me say that naturally, a lot of African people are naturally dirty. Like you've just said, the students also are to be blamed on this. I mean, we have this attitude of going to a restroom and leaving it worse than we met it. You know, that's one mentality many Africans have, Nigerians, and they even bring it even to Europe. You see where they stay rough, dirty, and you wonder why they live like that. People don't have that sense of decency, of organization.
No. Yeah, but a serious leadership, a serious administration should also be able to fashion out means and measures, you know, to checkmate these kind of things. We used to have what they call wing representatives those days in hostels. Looking at this place now in this video, this is a wing. Now, we used to nominate one individual to be a wing representative. If there is any issue here, the person handles it. Now, if anybody is seen misusing any university facility or any hostel facility, the person is reported and duly punished. For instance, you could make people sign undertakings before getting hostel accommodations that if you damage anything or if you are found in misusing any of the hostel facilities, you get expelled. You know, such strict measures should be put in place or enforced. I'm sure they are in place, but they should be duly enforced to make sure that students use those things well. And then on the part of the school, whatever they have to do, however they have to maintain these facilities, they should make sure that these things are maintained. And I also call on the alumni associations to come in this case. They should set out monitoring teams, monitoring groups to make sure that whatever fund, you know, devoted or donated for these causes should be monitored and followed to the roots to make sure that they are judiciously used to carry out the jobs they were devoted for. and not, end up in an individual's, the pockets of individuals, which is actually what we know has been happening all these years. In this case, I expect the university to come out, issue a statement, and not just issuing a statement, but do something about these structures we see. I am telling you, Mark, if these structures were not strongly built, maybe by good standards in those early 60s, by now they all would have collapsed. Because I remember some of these buildings, if you went to that in Njoko, there are places where you see buildings, the floors have parted. The buildings are disintegrated. The walls of those buildings are cracked and separated. And yes, students are staying there. Now, you don't want to talk about a particular, an abandoned section of that campus called Zix Flats, donated a block of buildings, hostel buildings, donated by the late president of Nigeria, Nnamdi Azikiwe. It's very close to where he stays in Osuka there. That one is a no-go area. I think it's gotten so bad that students were asked to leave, vacate the building, for their safety. And nothing has happened. Now, how much does it take to even erect a building? And these are just mini duplex, mini one-story buildings or two-story buildings. How much does it take to equip those things, make them habitable, put them in good order? It's appalling. It's not something anybody will be proud of. And coming out to say that you came out from this kind of university, I wonder how they look at products of these universities. Incidentally, they do well when they come out from these scholars. They go to better environments and excel. Telling you that, well, in Nigeria, with the hard life actually helps strengthen the people in there. But then it's not a justification to leave it in these conditions. So please, this university administration should do something about this. If they have challenges, they should let the world know. Then these graduates of this university would come together. There are so many alumni associations. They could come together and come to the aid of the university. It's very important. It's saddening, and no product of that university will be proud to identify with this university if we keep seeing these kind of images in the social media. Okay, so on that note, we go to the next news item for discussion, and that's the fake drinks, alcoholic drinks, beverages production factory busted in Anambra State of Nigeria. Recently, we got news from NAFDAC, the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration Control in Nigeria. All the time we get to read news about the busting individuals or factories where substandard and fake products are manufactured. In this case now, in Nigeria, this place was busted, and they see where people manufacture drinks, expensive drinks like Hennessy, McDowell's, Everwine, just name it, any product, any beverage, alcoholic beverage that is in high demand in the market. They produce them here and package them and bring them out into the market for people to consume. Mr. Mark, this is quite shocking, seeing this kind of thing. And the way they package these things even make it difficult for any discerning eye to be able to tell the difference between the fake and the original one. Mr. Mark, have you fallen victim of this? And oh my goodness, look at that drink. I've bought that drink in the market. That's 8. I don't even know now if it is the real one or the fake one from the way it is. I must commend this NAFDAC team, for making this step, being able to bust these people. But how many more are out there still doing business and making profit off the brands of other people with fake products that you don't even know if they are worthy of consumption? Mr. Mark, what do you think of this?
My good friend Vincent, this is...
I'm sorry, you're not audible, Mr. Mark. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Your voice is not audible.
I can hear you very well. Okay, let me... but I can hear you. Can you hear me? It's okay. What we're seeing is something that is that we're used to. Nigeria has a lot of these fake brewing companies, fake products companies, a lot of them all around. This one has been caught. They were producing some high-level alcohol, Hennessy, VOSP drink, vodka, and everything is done in a fake way. So what they do mainly is to get the bottle. They look for the bottle. The bottle is that where they can brand it and make it look like the real thing. So, but what you're drinking inside is just the same kai, like we call it, akmeteshi or sapele water. There are those names we used to call them. So that's it. We are used to this, but we need to do more than this. We can't be doing all these illegal products. One thing is, obviously, the people that do this means they are intelligent enough to do what they are doing. They're intelligent enough to come up with something. So what they need to do is put out their own product. They don't actually need to put somebody else's brand into their product. They can still call it their name and still make their sales. Must it be done in that way? They can open up their factory, get their brand registered, get all necessary registration papers, and put up sell their products. Yes, that's it, Vincent.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mark. It's quite disheartening. And one thing I also expect the government to do is, beyond prosecuting these people who go to fake these products, it's actually a big deal. It takes a lot of creativity to be able to do these things. Do you agree with me?
Yes, I just said so. That's correct.
Yeah, these people should be able to, given the adequate support. These are the so-called SMEs, small and medium scale enterprises.
Exactly.
Government should be able to, retrain them, make them to give them the incentives, find out their problems, the challenges they have in production, then help give them facilities, equip them, and monitor them to ensure that they actually produce their indigenous, not just to fake popular products. If you produce your own indigenous product and push them out in the market, it will chase away the foreign ones, the imported ones, so it will compete favorably with the popular ones in the market. I do not understand why they have to fake. Now, the volume of effort put in by makers of Hennessy, all these popular brands like McDowell's and others like that. And then you have to fake it. Now, when somebody consumes it, you say, oh no, this doesn't taste like Hennessy, or Hennessy is no longer what I thought it was. And then that will be it. I experienced this firsthand in Aba. If you go to a popular market, cemetery market or Ezekiel market in Aba, there are so many. In fact, majority of the products in the market there are fake products, products of produced by some of these fakers. At the back ends, they have factories where they repackage, these things and push them as though they were imported, and they make a lot of money from these things. So government should, in addition to punishing them, retrain them, reorientate them, make them to understand that they are endangering the lives of Nigerians. You understand? It's quite sad, and we have to just ensure that these things are done. Okay, let's look at the next trending issue in Nigeria. This one is actually as true as it is funny. It is ridiculous, and it's something that Nigeria really has to think about. We saw popular media personality Dele Momodu complain about the handwritten boarding passes issued to air travelers in Nigeria at Muritala Mohammed Airport in Lagos, Nigeria. People doubted it until Dele Momodu had to share the image of his boarding pass written by freehand by the operators of that airport. Now, I wonder what could have led to this kind of situation, Mr. Mark. What do you think could have led to this shameful situation in Nigeria?
Very, very shameful. Very, very shameful. One thing is for sure. We need to get ourselves. We need to begin to say the truth to ourselves and get things working like other nations do. The airport is one very important place of every country, because that's the entry point of people into a country. That's
Exactly.
that's the borderline. So whatever happens there is taken as the first impression for anybody. Whatever happens at the airport for a person coming to a country for the first time, or even a citizen of that country, it's taken as the first impression. So we have a situation where our airports and our entry points all don't give good impression of who we are. That's where people know that we are a bunch of funny, very strange set of people. I mean, how do you travel or come into the airport and you're given boarding pass, and boarding pass is written with pencil and paper? And
This is where other countries use digital pass, where you could just flash the barcode, the QR code on the screen on a monitor, and you pass. Here we are still writing in longhand boarding passes. Isn't that funny?
and interestingly, there is fund for all this. You know, it's a machine that you slot in, and it types it gives you all that inscription of the person, the date, the departure, the time, your plane flight, your number, your this and all that, you know. So that machine is probably not working well because maybe it has been overrun. Where such machines, you have many of it, probably it's just one or two that is working, because the fund, the finances to purchase more has been swallowed up by some crocodiles. So,
and snakes, right?
Snakes, you know. So they will manage to buy one very rickety something, you know, arrange, and that thing will pack up as soon as you use it. So these are it's laughable, but it's high time we stop this. It's high time. Nigeria can do better than what we're doing.
I agree with you. Nigeria can do a lot better, and I think they should start by cleansing, if possible. I know that the major problem Nigeria has is, one, leadership, two, corruption at different places, and it's actually a long way off, because before we know it, Nigeria would sink just in one day if this continues, and I'm sure it will continue. You know the problem there, when they are making appointments, they do not consider them. They don't make appointments based on merit. If you had appointed someone who is well versed in airport management or even administration, not just airport management, you could appoint someone who's good at administration, someone with integrity, and then the person would be trained on how to manage an airport. If the person gets trained and begins to implement what he learned with integrity, I'm sure you would never see this kind of thing. Or someone who thinks forward. We were talking about the other day, our politicians shooting down a bill that proposed to, digitize election management in Nigeria. And they shut it down just to continue their rigging practices. But they didn't know that it was actually in their interest if we use electronic collation or result election management. It will help in different ways. Now, in this case, if you have someone, a 21st century manager, they travel out, they see what it is. They see that you can even do self-service, ticket management at the airports, where you have the QR code, you just flash it on the machine there, and you pass. That is where we're supposed to be. And here we are. You don't know that.
And did you know also, Vincent, There are Nigerians that are techie enough. There are Nigerians that are very, very endowed with knowledge of doing these things. But funny enough, the government don't bring such people in. It's always somebody that doesn't understand how things work that will be heading that sector. So it's very, very strange. These things just put us out. People laugh at us, and they know we can do better. They know we obviously have what it takes to get it right, do things well, do things orderly, and like every other country does.
Exactly, yes. Exactly. You nailed it, Mr. Mark. Thank you very much for that contribution. Now, in the news again, we see 31 northern lawyers vow to defend Abba Kyari. Now, for those who are not familiar with the Abba Kyari story, Abba Kyari is Nigeria's, or was Nigeria's super cop, because right now he's been suspended and he's no longer enjoying that status as Nigeria's super cop. He was indicted by a 69-page damning report from the Federal Bureau of Investigations from the United States of America. And he is awaiting extradition by the Nigerian government to the US, where he is supposed to answer to the issues raised in that report. In this case, there's been different groups coming out to make threats, issue different kinds of threats about the trial. Now, one thing these people ought to understand is that America is not Nigeria. In Nigeria, you could we have a criminal. We treat criminals based on the high level of contact that the person has. If the person is well connected, of course, the criminal would escape. But if the person does not have contact, or he comes from the wrong part of the country, then the person is as good as gone. In this case, Abba Kyari, the super cop, comes from the north, where the ruling president comes from, incidentally. And there's been a lot of pressure from that part. But this pressure, I know, cannot sway America or make the FBI to drop their charges against Abba Kyari. When you see 31 northern lawyers come out, that's fine. If they follow him to the United States and speak for him there, defend him while on trial, that would be okay. If they are able to convince the American jury that Abba Kyari is innocent, that would be beautiful. Or what do you think, Mr. Mark? Do you think that these kind of agitations, these kind of threats from the different northern groups would be able to free Abba Kyari from Americans' nets?
Never. They are joking. They haven't stayed very long with the white people and see how things are done. Sometimes we laugh at our people and the way they do things. Not that we can't do better, but the Nigerians choose to do things in a more like mediocre, like in a lesser way. Now, the lawyers defending him has nothing to do with anything. He has a case to answer, and he has to go for it. If his hands are clean, if he's truly innocent of what he has his claims, then he can equally go, and he will be brought back immediately. You see, you don't. An innocent person is bold. An innocent person doesn't care what it takes. I mean, for example, I'm not afraid of anything because I've not done anything wrong. So if the law catches up with me, I have to face it. That's how it is.
Exactly.
31 northern lawyers doing this is based mainly on sentiments, emotion, and not understanding how international matters work. Like we said some other time, we said this, Vincent, that the Western security system, the Western security agencies like the CIA, the FBI, these organizations are very good at what they do. Yes, they could have one or two errors sometime, but when it comes to issues like this, because it's a human, they are looking into a human affair, and they know that every human being has his human rights. So, and they don't want to infringe on that human right. They want to be very careful, because if they infringe on your human right and they find out that you're innocent, you could take them to court, and that's a big case on them. So they try very much to put themselves from that path. They try very much to be accurate and bring real concrete evidence against whoever it is they are going after. So they have called for the man. Now, if he's innocent, he doesn't need lawyers to defend him. If he's innocent, he goes there and proves his innocence. Simple.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Okay. You have more to say?
Yeah. So, no, what I want to say is we need to let our people know that this is not Banana Republic. This is not some people.
No. America is not Banana Republic. America is not Nigeria.
Yes, it has nothing to do with animosity. It has nothing to do with sentiments or emotion.
It's not personal. He was involved. He got involved, and they saw his involvement in the course of their investigation, and they saw it. I see another angle to it is the hypocrisy, the smelling hypocrisy from that part of Nigeria. Here, let me quote them. I quote, they said, "We would raise questions involving the possibility of breaches to Kyari's fundamental rights entrenched in Articles 6 and 7 of the African Charter on Human and People's Rights, which essentially state that every individual shall have the right to liberty and to the security of his person, and every individual shall have the right to have his cause heard. This comprises the right to an appeal to competent national organs against acts of violating his fundamental rights as recognized and guaranteed by conventions, laws, regulations, and customs in force, etc." Now, these are things they are quoting in the case of Abba Kyari, who was indicted by a no less an organization than FBI of the United States. But this same Nigeria had to go all the way to Kenya to abduct Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of IPOB, who has been living in Britain and other places, and where he's not been found or indicted as a terrorist. And they've been holding this guy down, denying him every access to at least his human rights as enshrined by the laws in Nigeria and other places. And here they are talking about granting the same rights to Abba Kyari simply because Kyari is from the right side of the country and Kano and Igbo are not from the right side of the country. This is the hypocrisy that we see in Nigeria every day. And the earlier we begin to learn from these things, the better for us. Mr. Mark, did you see that? Did you smell that hypocrisy?
Yeah, you just said it. We don't need to elaborate on that. There is obviously a one-sided decision, a one-sided action, and all I will say is let the man go out and defend himself if he's innocent.
If he is innocent, thank you very much.
There's no point hiding and doing all this. What does those lawyers have nothing to do with the CIA? The CIA
Exactly.
own lawyers. They're not some cranky northern lawyers that don't know what law really is. So
Beautiful.
yes.
Beautiful. Let's go to the next and the last item here on our list for discussion, and that's the news. Every day people are dying in Nigeria, and in this case, there's news of the the death of a son of Nigeria's late legal luminary and Fieri activist, Gani Fawemi. In this case, it is Mohammed Fawemi, who has been reported dead at age 52. This young man was the heir to Gani Fawemi Chambers and Gani Fawemi Libraries, every business held by Gani, the late Gani Fawemi. The man who died at 52 has been in charge of all those, and he's been reported dead at 52. We are using this opportunity to send out our condolences to the family of the late Fawemi, uh, who lost their son and the head of the family, who's been in charge. May his soul rest in perfect peace. Mr. Mark, did you get that news? What do you have to say about Mohammed Hawemi?
Yes, yes. We send our condolence to the family. Ganifa Awemi was an icon, a human rights lawyer, and a lot of us young people looked up to him in these days of activities. And he was just out there helping, advocating for the helpless people, pointing out errors in governance. And so he became our hero. So hearing that his first son has also passed on is where we send our condolence. God knows best. We wish the family the heart to take this and continue with their lives also. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mark. And on the sports, the Olympics have come and gone. And we see that different countries, went home. Some happy, some went home happy, some went home, well, disappointed. Some took away a lot of medals, and some.
There's no encouragement from anybody. We have really tried on our own to push ourselves up to these limits we are, and there's no kind of like no assistance from anybody, not even for the federation. Like last one we heard from, someone was telling us that they gave us a favor to travel down here. They gave us a favor to travel down here.
Like we are here to play.
We are just here to play. They gave us a favor just for us to come here and just run, and there is a favor they have given to us to travel out. So you kind of like, you hear that you can even just give up in athletics. You can just give up and go and get something else to do. Something else to do. And we are not being catered for since we have been here. I've been in camp since last year, September. Up to this moment, I've not been given anyone there. And up to now, I've not still been paid anything. And there's no even hope of paying anything. There's no hope of really getting anything. When we talk, they'll say we don't need money, that we are juniors, that we don't need the money. Meanwhile, we have people, most of us here, we are the ones cutting for ourselves. We are the ones seeing ourselves through scope. So how are we going to do this? This is what we do. This is what we do, and I believe since we do this, we give all our effort, all our time. I believe when it comes to, in terms of financially, we don't really have to have problem with that. We don't really have to have any problem with that. So I believe, to me, I don't care what anybody can say. That's the best motivation I believe we can get right now. That's the best motivation. Well,
that's the sad tale from the Nigerian end. It seems there's no end to the tales of woes from the Olympics, especially when it concerns Nigeria. We see the video we saw there. Those are Nigerian youths, some of the athletes that represented Nigeria at the Olympics, telling their tale of woes, how they did not get any support from Nigeria, their country that they sacrificed for. There's not been any payment. They weren't taken care of. And it actually joins, adds to what we saw, the video we saw of that athlete, Ekwedik, is it Chooks, the shot put guy who was washing his dishes. And again, here, these guys are confirming what people have always said about our sports management teams, how they were not paid, how they're not taken care of, how they were left and abandoned. And even someone had the temerity to tell these young men that they should consider themselves lucky for going to Japan. After going to Japan, then what next? That is callous. And you see what I'm talking about the kind of people we appoint to represent us at different organizations. When you make those appointments, not of merit, but out of mediocrity, this is what you get. People who do not have patriotic intentions. They speak based on what they can get. They corner everything given to these guys. The monies come. There are funds, devoted to paying these guys, but somebody would corner it and tell stories to these young men. How would anybody be motivated tomorrow to represent the country tomorrow, or even to practice or to exercise or to train just to be able to? That's why you see a lot of Nigerians out there, representing other countries and not their country, because those countries recognize their efforts and pay them and reward them accordingly, even more than their home countries ought to. It is quite sad. Mr. Mark, what do you think?
That's it. That's it. It's sad. Hearing those boys speak shows you just see how very disorganized the sport ministry is. The sport minister should be called to order. The Senate does frivolous things. One thing they need to do now is to call the sport minister to order. Sunday Dari, you should call him to order and ask him what happened in this 2020 Olympics and Nigeria. He needs to explain a lot of things. He needs to explain all the endorsements that was cut off. He needs to explain all the the washing of our one jersey, and now this. The young men, imagine somebody telling them that they should be happy that they even came to Tokyo. What after, like you said, after Tokyo, what is Tokyo going to
change the guy's life? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Nothing. And when these guys begin to perform well, when they strive and begin to do well, maybe elsewhere, Nigeria would also come to take glory, to take credit for this personal effort, for things they did not contribute to. It is sad, and I think the earlier we learn our lessons and begin to do the right things, the better. It is on this note, gentlemen, that we would bring to a close today's Real Talk on Schengen Story Media. I want to thank you very much, Mr. Mark, for being there and for your incisive analysis on the issues we brought up. And for you, viewer, that stood up to this point, please do share our videos, like the page, subscribe to the page for more interesting videos. And if you know anything you want us to talk about, please do send it to us under the comment section below. We would, of course, work on it and respond to you accordingly. Thank you very much, and keep doing the right things. Enjoy yourself.
Thank you.